Hello and welcome to today's video. So today I'll be using AI to create art based on a few of my Terraria builds. Now I've always loved art. I used to draw all the time as a kid. I consider building in Minecraft and Terraria to be art. I think the games are just a medium for art. And naturally I'm pretty interested in AI art. And I'm very curious to see what AI can make of a few of my concepts for my Terraria builds. The AI I'll be using to generate these images is the Bing AI image generator. Now it might not be as specialist as AIs like Midjourney for creating art, but I've used it for a while now and the images it produces are really high quality. It's also completely free, so it has that going for it. The way it works is you're given around 15 boosts per day depending on how many Microsoft points you have accrued. And all boosts do is just speed up the image generation. It's still pretty quick without them. And at the end of the video I will also use AI to put a little teaser on what my next NPC house will look like in Terraria, so stick around for that. And let's get to it. And first up we have my Dye Trader house, with the main feature of course being the giant coloured candles on top. The idea being is that these are an advertisement for the Dye Trader's dyes. You know, you're walking through the barren desert, you look up and you see this building with huge candles of all various different colours. So it's like a neon sign but a medieval version of one. So let's see what the AI can do with this concept. And here is the first image, and straight away I think the AI has knocked it out of the park on this one. I mean, just look at this, it's just a beautiful image. It has all the little details like the small dye vats at the sides, it has the barrels, and of course it has the giant candles on top. I think my only issue with this one is that the candles look like they're floating. I think the AI got pretty confused about the laws of physics and gravity on this one, but apart from that it's still a beautiful image. And here's the second one. So the AI seems to have gone really crazy with the candles on this one. Also went very large in terms of scale. This is obviously quite a lot bigger than my Dye Trader house, but it works. And the last one, so this is my favourite by far. The reason being is the building itself is very similar to my build. It looks like it's made out of sandstone bricks. It has the dye vats included in it, although they're kind of smaller than on mine. And my favourite part is the candles, so I absolutely love the style of candles on this. It gives me an even greater appreciation for the concept, and it kind of makes me want to rebuild my Dye Trader house to make it look a little bit more like this, so maybe that's something I'll do in the future. And next up we have the Accursed Bone Heap. So I created this build for my bathtub building tips video, just to prove how versatile bathtubs are in Terraria building. And the idea with this one is it's a giant cursed heap of bones that can reanimate bodies and absorb souls. So let's see what the AI can do with this. So the AI only generated one image for this, probably because the prompt was very wordy, very complex. Because obviously this is quite a unique looking thing, it took a lot of words to describe how I wanted this to look. But the one image that it did create is absolutely fantastic. And look at this. Now this is exactly how I imagined the build would look. It has all the detail. It has like the sinister face at the top where I placed the bathtub. It has the skeletal birds circling around in the sky, the purple flames. It's just amazing. The only issue with this is perhaps the scale, because some of the skulls look enormous, and the build I made, the heap, is made up of primarily human bones, so obviously there's a bit of a scale issue there, but we can always just write that off and just say these are giant skulls. And next up we have my Steampunk piranha build, and I think the AI is usually pretty good with stuff like this. Pretty simple prompt to put in, so let's just give it a whirl. And here's the first image. So on this one I think it took the sails on the fins quite literally and gave it like a boat mast. Still a great image. I love how it's like jumping out of the ocean. And image number 2. Now this one definitely has the concept down, but it looks a little bit generic for me. Image number 3. So this one includes what looks to be a kind of underwater settlement that are perhaps performing maintenance on this giant piranha submarine slash robot. You can see what it looks like to be scaffolding under the fish, or maybe that's just like some kind of machine that the fish docks onto. So it has definitely built on the concept a little bit here, took some liberties. And the next image is by far my favourite, so take a look at this one. So you can tell it doesn't really look like my build at all. It's a completely different shape, but the reason why I love this one so much is that I think it just has so much character, and it also reminds me of a Terraria bombfish. I don't know if anyone else can see the resemblance, but to me they look almost identical. And I think I really missed an opportunity to actually build the submarine in the image of a bombfish, because that would have linked the build more to Terraria, would have made it fit in the world a little bit more. So yeah, I absolutely love this one. And here we have the Shimmerinator Type 6, a machine that shimmers NPCs. Now, I built this one a few videos ago to give the golfer a little shimmer, shazzle, shimmer, shamoo, just because I needed him in his fox form so I could base his entire NPC house around that idea, because I built him like a little golf hole fox den. And of course, this massive machine will be obsolete as soon as the new update drops with the shimmer water gun. But it will always be pretty, so let's see how the AI interprets this. So all the images for this one were pretty similar, so I'm just going to show you them in sequence. And this one here is my favourite, mainly because of the art style. Now I'm not sure what you'd even call this art style, but I do absolutely love it. And next up, the Clothier's house. A build I called the Master's Lair. Now this was my first build back on the channel after quite a long break from Terraria, like a few years. That's because I absolutely burnt myself out during lockdown, just spamming building all day. That's all I did, like for weeks and weeks and weeks. So I took a long break, and then this was the first actual build I uploaded on the channel. And here is the AI image version of it. Now I tried a few different prompts for this one, I really couldn't get it to look right. I have this issue with this particular AI generator in terms of caverns. Whenever I try and put something in a cavern, I want like a big scale, I don't want the build to be small, it always does the same thing, like a tiny little cave with light coming down from the top, so that's just what it's going to be, unfortunately. But I still think it captures a little bit of the build. It has the giant skull on top, of course, it has the hands coming down over the purple circus-like tent. Instead of like dolls and mannequins around, it has what seem to be these little skeletons, which is fine. But overall, I'm not too impressed with this one. And next up is my Alchemist pod. Now this was a very, very old build of mine. I think it was the second or third thing that I've built that was actually good. So obviously when I first started playing Terraria, I was building quite a lot of stuff and it was all terrible, and I had no idea how to utilize building techniques. I had no idea about the block palette and the paints or anything, and I was just building terrible things. But then when I watched a few tutorials, and then I started actually improving, and I think it was definitely the third thing that I built, and I remember at the time I really loved it. So let's see what AI can make of the concepts. So here is the first one. So it's definitely got it right in some ways. My only issue is the background. There seems to be some kind of abstract building behind it that's made out of like really circular smooth shapes, but as you can see with my build, it is a lone build, so I think the background ruins this one a little bit. And the second image, now again, this one has absolutely nailed the build down to a T, like it's almost identical. We have the spaceship like plant pot house with the giant circular window in the middle of it. We have the tree growing out the top of it with all the lights hanging down. But again, this one's kind of ruined with the background. I don't know why, but this prompt in the AI seems to just put like a house in the background for some reason. But I think it's still a great image in its own right. And moving on to Shipwreck Cove. Now, a build obviously inspired by Pirates of the Caribbean. And this was my pirate NPC house. The idea being that it's just a cove with loads of shipwrecks laid on top. Washed up, destroyed ships, and the pirates have built this fortress out of it. So I'm pretty confident in the AI to produce some pretty wacky images with this one, so let's give it a whirl. And the first image, great in my opinion. The only thing is with this one is it doesn't really make sense. It seems like, again, the AI has lost all concept of gravity or physics. Some of those boats would definitely fall off that cliff. I mean, come on now. I know it's supposed to look rickety, but in my opinion, this one looks a little bit too rickety. So we'll see what the second image can bring. And here it is. So again, taking a few liberties with real world physics, I'd say, but concept's pretty well on. We have, of course, the added detail of the shipwrecks in the ocean as well, which my build does feature, which I really like that. And image number 3. So this third image is my favourite image by far. The reason being is it has the ships in the ocean and they are built up onto the cove, as opposed to just the other images where there was just like 100 ships just somehow stuck at the top. This one, it looks a little bit more real, it makes a little bit more sense. And I think it looks all the more better because of that. But I wanted some atmospheric images as well, so I decided to give the AI a shot at making this fortress in the night, and let's see what it came up with. So first image, again, I think immediately this is actually better than the ones in the day. I really like the shape of this one. Obviously it has the added bonus of all the atmosphere because of the candles and the nighttime sky and all that sort of stuff. And again, a great image, but this one seems like the AI is back to its old tricks again with gravity. Doesn't really make much sense, but it still looks nice. And I think this is my favourite of all of them so far. The ships are stacked together in a realistic manner. It has the added ambience and atmosphere of nighttime with the candles and stuff. The shape is perfect, and of course I love that moon detail on the right hand side. This is a great image. And so this is my golfer NPC house, built in the idea that it's a golf hole with a fairy tale style willow tree on top. And the AI didn't go super realistic with this one. I mean, of course, you can actually put in the prompt what kind of artwork you want the AI to generate, but for this video, I preferred to just let the AI do its own thing and decide itself, and it's gone very fairy tale-esque with this, as you can see with this first image. And again, so this second image, it has everything there. So it has the bee nest, the fox golfer, the hole at the tree, the little red flag, the red mushrooms, pretty much everything. But I'm not too sure if I'm a fan of this art style. And the third image, so this is my favourite one. So this one is really cartoony, but I think it really emphasises what I was going for. So you can see the golf hole is like a thing leading under the roots of the tree. And I do really kind of like this art style. It's not in the same style as the other images. It's still really cartoonish, but in my opinion it just looks a lot better. And of course my nurse NPC house from the last build that I posted on the channel. And this was built in the image of a Fable health potion. So let's see what the AI can do with this. And here we are. So it couldn't really get the shape right. Obviously the shape in general is triangular, but it couldn't really get all the added curves in there, so it just made everyone a triangle, which is a little bit disappointing. It also struggled at getting the caduceus in the right place and angle and size. And for some reason, when you mention a temple, it always decides to go the Asian route. So it must have had a lot of training on Asian temples. And I think overall this image is my favourite, just because I really love how it's done the glass on this one. But moving on. And of course we have the ancient fire blossom tree, the demolitionist NPC house. And this one I think the AI did probably the best out of all the others. So at first when I initially did the prompt, I forgot that the fire blossom tree that I built was in a cavern. So here's the images that it created with an open sky. Still absolutely beautiful. This one especially, I just love how I just love it, like the twirling entwined branches, the flowers are absolutely perfect as well. Pretty much exactly how I envisioned them. This one kind of messed up a little bit on the flowers, put some leaves in there, but I really do love the colour contrast. And a similar kind of thing with this one. For some reason it just generated like one big flower in the middle, and the rest were just like bunches of leaves. But the colours on this one are amazing. I think it's because it has the night sky contrast, the dark blue and the orange. It's just gorgeous. And so moving on to the ones that I actually did in a cavern. This is the first one. Again, just an amazing image. It even has like little fire blossoms off the tree as well on these rocks near the lava. But it did the age-old AI thing of just always putting like a little hole at the top of the cavern for light to shine down. I'm not too keen on that. I like the glow to come mainly from the lava and the fire and the flowers. And here's the final image, and I think this is my favourite. Just look at it, like the flowers themselves, you can sort of sense the fire essence coming off of them. It's great. And that's pretty much going to wrap us up for today in terms of all of the AI art. I hope you enjoyed it all. However, I did say if you made it until the end of the video, I will give you a little teaser on what the next Terraria NPC house is going to look like. So, the next build will be for the tax collector, and here is the AI generated teaser of what it's going to look like. Thank you very much for watching and have a wonderful day.